All right, guys, let's move on to Michigan and Illinois. I don't know how much there is to talk about this game other than Illinois, good, Michigan, no Doug McDaniel, on the road, bad. Terrence Shannon Jr., how dare we ever question this man? 31 points, 30 assists, 3 rebounds, was just absolutely spectacular. 5 3-pointers in this game. Rajiv, what are your thoughts on Illinois nearly scoring 100 at home and just absolutely obliterating Michigan?
Yeah, no one questions the skill of Terrence Shannon. Of course, maybe whether or not he should be playing, that's another discussion. But look, I think that they have so many athletes. I mean, you look across Illinois, they're a scary looking team. You know, Gary and Domask and the guy I'm forgetting, Hawkins. Like they're just they're long, they're athletic, they're extremely skilled, and Shannon's fantastic. Like he is who he is. They're one of the best teams in the conference. They're arguably one of the best teams in America, and I am excited to see them go up against Purdue again and see how they fare and against us. But look, Michigan's just bad. I mean, that's just what they are. They beat us because we had one of the worst little stretches of our history. It was awful this past week, but without McDaniel, they're a different team, and they don't have it. It doesn't surprise me at all, honestly. I just feel like that place, we talk about going on the road in the Big Ten. Well, Champaign is a ridiculously hard place to play. I hate going to Champaign. I think there's no arena in this conference that scares me as an opponent more than that place, just because the fans are on top of you. Everyone's all dressed in orange. I feel like the atmosphere's always been great at Assembly Hall. So I think that look, they're a really good team, and it doesn't surprise me one bit that they did this. And you expect them to do this, right? This is what you expect from one of the top teams in the conference. This is what Purdue does to teams. This is what we've done to Michigan State. Sorry. But I mean, good for them. I'm excited to play them. They are absolutely skilled. And it's not just about the Big Ten. Illinois is a team that I feel like has true Final Four ceiling this year, just because of Shannon and the ridiculous long list of athletes they have. And Domask has been such a nice addition for them. So yeah, very impressive, and not a difficult game, but it's going to be interesting to see how this progresses and whether or not they can, solidify the second spot.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was definitely an impressive performance, and this team just impresses me whenever I watch them, if nothing else, for the type of basketball and the brand of basketball they play. Just so many switches, and everything seems like a mismatch. I love when you see 4 guys on the perimeter. It's all their 4 longest and lankiest guys, and then you have Ty Rodgers, who's 6'6". He looks like a little guy out there with all the other guys, but then Ty Rodgers is posting somebody up, and it's like, what in the world is offense? Am I watching college basketball or the NBA here? But, that's kind of what they do, and it's really interesting, and it's fun to watch. So, Anthony, obviously, Michigan not having the best year. Oh, I meant to highlight this from Philip. Illinois has won 8 straight against Juwan Howard led Michigan. I saw that stat and wanted to mention that earlier, so I'm glad Philip reminded me there. Thank you. Michigan just kind of on a downward spiral here. Seems like they've been on a downward spiral for a couple months now. Your thoughts on Illinois defeating Michigan?
So first off, I want to point out that it is possible to fire a coach mid-season. Not that Ward Manuel would do that, but it is possible to do that.
Did you hear his comments earlier today?
I heard the "You're welcome" post-game comment.
No.
Was there something else I missed?
Yeah, Nicole Auerbach from The Athletic.
Oh, about Ward. Yeah, yes, I did.
Yeah, he was like, I've not even considered it. And it's like, really?
Okay. All right. I'm not going to complain. You want to keep Juwan there, knock yourself out.
Yeah. Oh, and here's the thing. If we bash Ward Manuel, I think Michigan fans are all for that, because I think that's like the unifying thing amongst everybody. Right now. But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, sorry, to derive from the game. So in general, Michigan has been able to hang with most teams for the first half, and then their second half point differential has been horrendous. It's like minus 130 or something like that in Big Ten play. It's just a ridiculous second half point differential where they let a lead get away. Wisconsin was actually one of the rare games they didn't let a lead get away at halftime. So this game actually was even out of control before halftime. Michigan had it, within 4 with a couple minutes left to close the half, but then Illinois went on a 16-2 run, and it's like Michigan never really recovered after that. I think Illinois was able to sit their starters for like 8 minutes of the second half. At that point, the backups are playing Michigan against Michigan starters. Overall, this is a great response from Illinois. They dropped a tough one, at Michigan State, but this is a bad Michigan team, and they never really let up. They have athletes all over the place. They have a ton of length. They're really tough defensively. I still think Coleman Hawkins is one of the best all-around players in the Big Ten in terms of all of the ways that he can affect the game on both ends of the floor. So hard to find too many flaws with Illinois offensively, right? They're averaging 82 or 83 points a game. Last 2 times they've done that, they've made a Final Four. So, take that for what you will. They've got all the pieces to put up numbers. Can they defend, right? That's if they run into a hot team, you saw against Michigan State, Illinois, Michigan State was just running circles around them towards the end of the game. They were making really tough shots, good shots, and Illinois, that's what's going to come down to how far this team go is their defensive ceiling.
Yeah, and I feel like sometimes they can get in their own head, right? When the other team goes on a run, it's almost like Illinois just has this hard time of coming back from that. Now, they've definitely done it this season. I'm not saying it's been a struggle throughout the entire season, but, I think most people kind of saw that in the Tennessee game where Tennessee started to get up and it was harder for Illinois to get back. And that's kind of what I felt like was happening with Michigan State when Michigan State started to come back, and then Illinois, struggling to get back into that game, make a run back. But definitely no question on what the ceiling for this Illinois team is. If they play a good brand of basketball throughout the entire tournament, this is a Final Four caliber team. And one of the big reasons for that, there goes Anthony. Maybe he'll come back. One of the big reasons for that, Rajiv, is Coleman Hawkins and his defensive ability. Now, Sonny and I kind of had a little bit of a conversation on, is he Defensive Player of the Year? I think he's in the conversation. I don't know if he is the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. A lot of people seem to be thinking that. What say you, Rajiv? Are you on board with Coleman Hawkins, Defensive Player of the Year? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against that. I mean, the guy's a great defensive player. I mean, I'm always gonna go for Chucky Hepburn just because I think he's the best defender in the conference. But I mean, Hawkins is. If there was one person on any Big Ten team, any player that I wanted on any team, not Zach Edey because he's whatever, but it's Hawkins. I mean, he is so versatile. He's like this perfect player that's just a extremely long, lanky guy that's got handles and can shoot and can do everything on the floor. He's an all-around athlete. And to me, like Shannon's great, but I mean, Hawkins is not their second best player. And I think that, he's Defensive Player of the Year. I wouldn't hate it if he got it. Obviously, I always want Chucky to get it, but it's fine. I mean, I think it's a very worthy award for him.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's what I'm saying is like, yes, he's probably the second best player on the team, but I think you can make an argument that Coleman Hawkins is the most important and the most impactful player on this team, because I really do feel like Illinois goes as Coleman Hawkins goes. Terrence Shannon Jr. is going to get his every single game. He's gonna score and he's gonna be that slasher, but also make those threes when you lay off him and stuff. But at the end of the day, Coleman Hawkins is the most impactful and most important player on this team. In my mind, Sonny is saying Hawkins may be the team MVP this year. I think so, especially with seeing Terrence Shannon Jr. go out earlier this year. Domask filled in really, really well, but Hawkins has been kind of that consistent piece all year long. Would you say, Anthony, would you agree with that Coleman Hawkins has been the most important piece of this Illinois team this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of the glue that holds the team together in a lot of ways. I think I talked about his versatility earlier, but having a 6'10" guy who can guard on the perimeter, move his feet like he does, and has as quick of hands as he does is a luxury, right? Having someone with that kind of length and that kind of mobility. It's why I think he's going to get NBA looks this year, right? I don't know if
without a doubt.
I don't know if I would have put him on an NBA board at the beginning of the season, but now there's no question about it. The tools that he's shown. And he's just kind of he does all those things that he does fill up the box score sheet, but he does lots of little things that don't always show up in the box score too. That just, he gives this team an energy. He gives this team an edge that it, maybe sometimes to a fault in terms of how much edge he brings to this team, but it's, he's a guy that, lights a fire under him and just really helps them to reach their biggest potential.
Yeah, I mean, unquestionable passion from Coleman Hawkins. So I said it during our videos when we were doing some of the awards and stuff like that. I know people aren't really a fan of Coleman Hawkins, but there's something about him. I really love watching him play. And
he's a different style of player than Draymond, but he has a similar energy where it's like you can't stand the guy when he's not on your team, but you love it when he is, right? Jaws a little bit, tons of defensive energy. He's kind of got a similar vibe in terms of just that guy.
Yeah.
He has not responded to my DM, by the way. So Rajiv, we had a bit with it was Casual Big Ten, I think. Was hoping to get Coleman Hawkins on his pod, and we were sending him DMs to try to get him there. So no progress on that.
And we said if he blocks you guys, then he really is the defensive player of the year. Add those to his stat block totals for the year.
He did not block us, not yet.
We'll see. Thanks for listening to the Big Ten Huddle. Please do like and subscribe. We appreciate that. If this was your first time listening, we are the Big Ten Huddle. We cover all things Big Ten football and basketball. We have a long episode every Sunday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night, all at 9 o'clock. So come in, check us out, get in the chat, let us know what you're thinking. We would love to have you join us and learn more about the Big Ten.